Welcome to the Village Roundtable Podcast, where we connect students, parents, and educators with meaningful conversations about education, college planning, growth, and the unique community here at the Village School of Naples. Each episode, we bring in special guests to share insights, stories, and expertise on topics that matter most to our listeners. Whether you're a current family or considering joining our village, this podcast is your front row seat to what makes TVS truly special. Now, let's dive in.
Just want to thank you for being here today and spending some time with us. Why don't you start by introducing yourselves and tell us where you go to school and what inspired you to go there?
Do you want to start us off?
Sure. My name is Kara Helm. I go to the University of Tennessee and I'm studying elementary education. So that's fun, and just being back here is just a good environment to be around teachers and see how they inspired me. I decided to go there because I have a lot of family that graduated from there. I feel like it's a very family-oriented, pride in a good way, school spirit that I just enjoy. So it's just a good environment. Yeah.
My name is Sammy Sweet, and I go to Eckerd College, and I'm studying visual arts and psychology. And I actually heard of Eckerd here. One of the art teachers here went there, and she graduated from there, and she was telling me, I think you'd love it, and I did, and the art program there is so awesome. I just love it.
My name is Brooklyn Steuben. I go to the University of Alabama. I'm studying public relations, and what stood out to me about Bama is just how, kind of like you said, it's a very prideful school, a lot of school spirit, and it's a great place to get involved, which was something I was really looking for in a school. And we went to Village, which was so much fun on a smaller scale, so to now be at another school that's so prideful and pride driven, that's on a bigger scale, has been really awesome.
So when I listen to what you're into right now and what you're pursuing in college, I feel like you found your passions early. As I watched you as young upper school students and now in college, can we talk a little bit about where that inspiration began here at the Village School?
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like we all were interested in very similar things and now kind of dipped our toes in that already in college. So it's been a lot of fun to look back even.
I was thinking how I feel like we definitely just got a lot of opportunity here, and being able to experiment in everything. I would say because it was kind of smaller, I felt a lot more confident and just comfortable with who I was around in the community to be able to just join the play or join student government and go out for a role. And that was just kind of something that I feel like if I was at a bigger public school, I think I'd be a lot more intimidated to do.
Totally.
So just being able to, like, I remember first in like 5th grade, we were like, oh, let's try it out for the net. We saw like the first show, I think it was Country Ella. So random.
Small, like,
yeah,
that was
very
when we were
small. It was
getting
like
into the
just
theater
introducing.
program.
It was in here. I'm like, oh, let's do the next play. So we did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it was like just so random. And I don't think I really would have stuck myself out there if I didn't have like the community I was around and stuff. So just being able to do that, and then we tried out for cheer and then volleyball and however many things.
There was just always opportunity for us to get involved and kind of make it what we wanted it. And so I think that was really helpful with us discovering what our biggest passions were. And yeah, we were involved in athletics and then the theater program, like she said. So just a lot of great memories, but also great experience.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy, you really did an amazing job pursuing photography and art while you were here. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, my entire life, like since I was probably 7 years old, it was like marine biology. That is what I'm doing. I'm doing that, and nothing's gonna change my mind. And then in 8th grade, I took a photography class here, and I was like, oh no, this is it. And ever since then, I took some type of art class every single year, created my own art classes, and from there I was like, this is what I want to do forever.
Had photos on the wall. And
Yeah, you're an acclaimed photographer, though. You won many awards for your photography, and I just find it such an incredible thing that you started to figure that out here in high school, and you're pursuing it professionally and in college.
Yes, and I have them to thank. They were my first models ever, and to this day they're my favorite. So.
It was
It's
just
definitely
fun, like
yes.
because we had the classroom environment and these amazing teachers to kind of guide us and say, yeah, you guys are good at this, like you can actually go somewhere with this, like you have with photography, for example. We would go out on the weekends and just do fun little photo shoots and have different themes, and it's crazy and funny to look back on some of the funny little photo shoots that we did, but they really became something for her, obviously, even in high school, winning awards like you said, or just having the photos up on the school halls, and then now in
Totally.
college when it's a much bigger scale and
Right.
she's
Yeah,
still
I get-
doing it.
Now
Right.
to do that for like assignments,
Yeah.
like what I was doing for fun here, it's like, oh, well now I have to do that and I get graded on it, which is like
And now
awesome.
you're like doing maybe wedding photos
Right.
or graduation photos and
Yeah.
things like that. It's crazy.
Right. So what else I find fascinating is just you did theater at a pretty large scale. I remember, I think your last production was Beauty and the Beast, right?
One of the last,
One of the
yes.
last ones. And then just sports. I remember watching you on the volleyball court. So maybe you can talk just a little bit about how you were confident enough to excel to the levels that you did on the stage and on the court.
I would say that because we did so many things, there definitely was, it took a second to get used to
The
balancing
schedules.
out the schedules. And that was one thing that I remember our coaches and our directors and whoever
Teachers,
yes,
everybody.
they got together to try to figure that out, because
Totally.
I think that is one thing with small schools, you're gonna have to double dip in some things. So I think being able to work with them and them being so cooperative definitely helped.
Accommodating, just
Yes.
always there for us.
And totally just being like, we understand that we were very interested in both theater and sports and stuff. So being able to do both was really just their support for sure. So.
Yeah.
And you were also in AP courses. So I believe we offer 24 APs right
Mhm.
now, and you all did many APs. I think some of you were AP capstone
Mhm.
diplomas recipients as well. Can you talk a little bit about maybe how your coursework here prepared you for the coursework that you have right now?
I was definitely very just intimidated and nervous going into college. Not just graduating high school obviously is such a great accomplishment and you finally did it, and then it's like, oh wow, this is a much bigger scale now in college. So I was nervous, wondering if I could handle the course load, and I can say absolutely. I think I have been well equipped and am totally prepared for everything that I have experienced so far academically.
Yeah, academic.
Academics based, academically
Yeah.
speaking. So I think it's refreshing to look back and say, you know what, we did well in high school, yes, and we worked hard in high school and got good grades, but we can also do that in college at these big universities.
Mhm.
I always say that I feel like the teachers, being able to get close to them, made me more confident going into classrooms in college, just because I was so used to being able to go to my teachers and ask them what I wanted
For
to
guidance.
and for guidance, and just working with them, that now when I go to college, I'm like, okay, I want to get to know my professors just as well and go up to them after class and ask kind of questions and just get to know them just like how I did here. And I think that totally helps just myself, like mentally, and it shows in some of my
Coursework. It stands out to
Yes.
the teachers too, absolutely.
Yes,
And that's
that's
something
what I
that they say at the beginning of each class. I feel like at least for me at Bama, they always talk about how when they get to know a student better, it's going to be more helpful for both the student and the teacher. And so, like you said, I'm not afraid to ask a question or go up to them after class. And that way that teacher is then more willing to help accommodate whatever my needs are. So I think because we had such great relationships with all of our teachers throughout middle school and high school, we're not afraid to do things like that, where maybe some of our peers and classmates, that's not something they're used to.
Right.
So it makes
So you
sense.
feel like the smaller environment and the relationships you have with the faculty here built the confidence you have right now to do that in college.
Mhm.
totally.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I would even say that like Village prepares you so much to be able to go to these large scale schools, but also I'm at a very small school, and I also feel very prepared because like it's very similar, where I have classes that have like 6 to 12 people in it. It's very similar to like the classes we had here, and it's like I get to know the teachers like I did here, and I think it's more helpful for like the people who came from very big public high schools and have to adjust to coming to a smaller school. That's probably, I would assume, a little harder from going small to big. So I feel very prepared even in my small little tight knit college.
That's great. So even from a small environment, you were both prepared to go to Tennessee and Alabama, and you felt as prepared to be in a similar environment. All right. Well, a couple more questions here. How did TVS prepare you with the academic fit? So what was it that we did here in our coursework that prepared you to be successful in college?
I'm trying to think of specific
I know,
little
me too.
things. I feel like we had a lot of project-based work, which I think to some might be looked down upon, but for us as very hands-on people, and we were surrounded by a lot of hands-on people, for me, like the nitty-gritty looking into things and making a project helped me learn so much better. And because of the way I practiced that in high school, I've totally taken that with me to college. And even when it's not a project-based activity, whenever I'm studying or if there is a project I'm working on, I know how I would like to study and the best way for me. So I think that was very helpful.
I think going off of that, because we had such hands-on stuff here, it's easier to go from we're here doing hands-on stuff and a mix of by the book and presentations and stuff, to then in college and being able to apply that to studying and taking information, then going from maybe a school that just does strict by the book, you're reading textbooks,
Same schedule every day.
and then going to something where it's kind of hard to maybe think of some creatively or come up with unique presentations. And I think, or at least for me in education, elementary education, my classes are based off of creativity a little more, coming up with lesson plans and being able to work with kids. So I think that totally applies to the creativity here, with applying that to my real life career and school and college and stuff.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I think about the three of you, you bring your intellect, the academics, you bring athletics and creativity. But we talked a little bit earlier just about this other element, je ne sais quoi, this unnameable characteristic that we might be able to name, that really made your experience here amazing. And I think you bring it to the environment that you're in. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think for us, we were so lucky to have such an amazing graduating class, just like the classes before us and the classes that have come after us. But I feel like something that we always kept in mind is that it's what you make of it. And we really put ourselves out there in every way that we could. And because of that, we've done the exact same thing in college, both all three of us and then our classmates that we went from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade with. And we just wanted to make sure that everything we were doing was, yes, we were working hard and putting ourselves out there, but also having fun with it. And I mean, we had so much fun. We had a very, very good time.
Totally.
You know, you really drill into character. You really emphasize that in a lot of the things you're talking about, like leadership, in working hard and working together so collaboratively. When you think about your college landscape now and the kind of character that you bring to that environment, how can you explain your development of those skills here at TVS?
I would say I'm in a sorority, and I think going through the recruitment process totally had me really think about who I am as a person and what made me who I am today. And a lot of that is dedicated to Village School, just because of what I was around and surrounded by, the people that lifted me up. And I think that made me feel able to present myself more genuinely than maybe some other girls that are just a little more
putting on an act.
Yes, putting on an act. And I think being able to know each other like personally, and like you said, the small class, that totally made me feel like I could be more in tune with who I am.
I completely agree. I also am in a sorority, and the rush process, as funny as it sounds, is very intimidating and overwhelming. It's a very long week, but I feel like we were well prepared to have a sort of interview process like it is, and then also just, to be in touch with what we are looking for to surround ourselves with come college. And we had such a great environment here with peers, teachers, classmates, everything. And so I think we have both in sorority life, and even Sam, you're not involved in Greek life, but the people that we've surrounded ourselves with now are very similar to the people that we had here. And I think that's been very, very helpful. And we knew what to look for, and we were successful with that. So it's been great.
Yeah.
So,
So I was just going to say,
Go ahead.
similarly, like I'm not in a sorority. We don't have sororities at my school, but I was on the cheer team the last 2 years and just a part of other different types of clubs. And I found it like almost hard, like knowing that people didn't come from such a good Christ skills school, that it's like I can pick out like, oh, like we're not
compatible.
They're
not
not for
compatible,
me.
right?
And like knowing that like I can find people who were similar to the people that I new here, it's like so much better, and it makes everything there feel more comfortable because I was so comfortable here that I can like be myself with other people there too.
Yeah, I think you are so genuine, the three of you, and I think it came across when you were students here, and it certainly does today. When we talk about our students being known, nurtured, and loved, and I think about you guys, can you talk a little bit about those three things that we value so much here at Village?
I would say when it came to writing, just talking about being known and loved and stuff, I felt like there was things when it came to writing, what I was going to say, our college essays, I really struggled with what do I write about? I don't know how to talk about something. Usually those essays are something more personal and deep and maybe something a little more sensitive and sad. And I just didn't really know how to, I'm not a very serious, emotional person. And I just went to some of my teachers for that help. And I remember sitting with Miss Bright, she helped me write my essay, and just being able to identify who I am. They mainly told me like, well, I see this in you. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like these people know me better than I do sometimes because they're seeing me from a different perspective.
Totally.
And that was just really crazy to see. And that was like definitely like a clicking moment. Like, wow, like I've loved it here, but seeing that my teachers that I've been around for a couple of years knew me so well, like just is such a good feeling for sure.
That's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like all of the it is truly just like a huge community, because I know our teachers who were also our coaches, and they'd come watch us in the plays even if they weren't a part of like any type of
that department.
Yes, they would come and support us on the court or at plays or help us with outside of school needs, just anything that we needed or anything. They were there to support us and help us through that.
Because it's obviously a smaller scale school, which we loved. Everybody does know who you are, especially when you do put yourself out there. And so I totally felt seen and known. And yes, we were nurtured, absolutely. There were people there to help us whenever we needed it, but we were also pushed, and I think had to work hard to get to the places that we were. And like we talked about, we were involved in a lot, so there were a lot of schedule conflictions and a lot of different times we had to be at one place and then be at another. We'd go from a volleyball game or volleyball practice right into this room to have our rehearsal for our show that's coming up that spring, and whatever that may be. It was overwhelming, and we'd have days that would last from 7:30 in the morning when we come in with Miss Kelly for show choir, and we wouldn't get out of this room until 9 p.m. after our practice and rehearsal. But as overwhelming as it was, we had a great time with it, and I felt so loved, and I think we could all agree, because those teachers, those coaches, those directors were always there to support us and help us with whatever we needed, and made sure that the schedules lined up, because they knew that we were involved in so much and wanted to give so much, to give 100% to whatever that we were doing. And the fact that we were able to do that is, I think, very, very special.
Yeah, I think it was your class that inspired a schedule change to move it to 4 courses a day. Because you had a lot of advanced placement courses and you needed that time in the evening for your athletics and track. Can you talk just a little bit about the schedule?
I personally loved that 4 classes a day that you were just mentioning. I think it definitely gave us more time to focus on just those 4 courses a day. That I don't know how the schedule is now, but I don't know if it's similar, but I loved that it was like, okay, we just have these 4 classes for an hour and a half or 2 hours, however long it was. We were committed to that, and then we would see that a little later the next day. You could focus on that. Just left you a little less scatterbrained.
I was going to say, I'm a very scatterbrained person, so I think it is helpful for me. It was helpful for me then, and it is helpful for me now to know, okay, for this hour and a half, I'm focused on this. And whether it was our AP environmental science class in the mornings, okay, we did everything we needed to do for that, studied for the test, got the homework done, and then we had a little break maybe, and then into AP language or whatever the class was. And then we knew by the end of the day, when we had our crazy schedule with extracurriculars, we had gotten everything that we needed to done academically based, and we were ready to go the next day and do it all over again.
Right.
And like, just talking about scheduling in general, it was so like easy, and everyone kind of helped you create the best schedule you wanted.
Totally.
Like, I remember I was having some issues because I wanted to be in an AP art class, but I also needed to take math, and I remember sitting down with you and the guidance counselor and just like figuring out like, okay, maybe I can just be in this classroom and be doing my own thing, and you can have your own class in there and you would still have help, and like everyone just like accommodated to what I needed and what I needed to do to be successful and like what I wanted to do, and it was really awesome.
Yeah, very helpful.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so now you've graduated and you are halfway through the mark of your college experience, and when you look back at the TVS students today, if you were to give them one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would say just don't be afraid of what other people think, and don't hold back on if you want to try something, or just take that risk of putting yourself out there, because it's so rewarding. I never would think that I was always the shyest kid, and thinking about being up on a stage and singing a solo or anything like that, it was actually volleyball even. I was so scared of that, and they were like, come on, just do it, and I did it, and it was the best time of my life, just because I don't know that. So just don't be afraid to hold back and put yourself out there.
Yeah, and just get involved, because even if you don't like it, like you don't have to continue, but you probably will like it. Like I've had I've had a lot of like experiences with college. Like I've tried a bunch of things and didn't end up liking it, but that didn't like bring me down or anything. Like I just jumped into the next thing and that I did like, and now I'm like happier that I was able to leave something that wasn't serving me and to join something that is, just because here I was able to do that as well.
Yeah.
So just get involved.
I totally agree. I think looking back on my high school experience, there's not one thing that I regret doing, because we put ourselves out there in every way. And I know that's what we kind of keep circling back to and keep saying, but truly, like you said, it is so beyond rewarding and has helped me so much with what I am involved with now in college. And I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. So when I look at the three of you, I remember it was just after Hurricane Ian, and you three were out in the community serving others and really living the servant leadership that we strive so hard to exhibit here. You led a campaign called The Knights Go the Extra Mile. Do you want to talk just a little bit about what inspired you to do that, and how that's carried forward in your lives today?
I think it's hard when we had such a great growing up experience and not a lot of stuff that went wrong, and then to one weekend everything kind of changes, and we were all very lucky to have very little damage or any. We weren't strongly affected by Hurricane Ian, but so many people in not just Naples as a community, but in our Village School community were affected, and that's hard to see, especially when we are so tight knit here. So I think we instantly just wanted to help in any way that we could and knew how to. And you know, there was trial and error with that, but ultimately we came up with Knights Go the Extra Mile, and just having something that was so unifying, which was just, we had just built our new track, which was amazing, and just walked a mile as a community, whether you were a kindergartner or a 12th grader like we were at the time. We were all just walking together kind of in honor of all those who were negatively affected by Hurricane Ian. And I think we were, in the end, raised over $15,000. So it was definitely very rewarding.
Amazing. In addition to that, I know we also did, I think it was maybe just our senior class, the bake sale in front of True Fashionistas. And I think that was like, we hadn't really all seen each other for a while after the hurricane, and somehow we decided to all come together, and we all just started texting like, hey, let's do something to raise money. And so the senior class, we got together and everyone brought different baked goods and stuff. And I think seeing that was just eye-opening in the way that we all really are a community to come together and raise money for others, whether it was just Naples in general or Village School itself.
And now, like, moving into our college careers, being in a sorority, obviously you have a philanthropy that you're serving, and for me it's Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. I don't know what yours is, Kara.
Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah, so I think because we had so many opportunities, not just because of the hurricane, but other things throughout our high school years that we were volunteering for, like National Honor Society, we always had something that we were out doing community service for. So we had not only the knowledge of how that worked, but also the passion for it. So I love every philanthropy event that my sorority hosts and that I can get involved in. I love to talk about it with girls that I am now rushing, being on the other side of things. And I think that really was instilled in me at a young age, being at Village School.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to volunteer hours, like, we know that's kind of a necessary thing that each student has.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being able to go into the recruitment process of being able to say, oh, I didn't just have a mandatory volunteer hour. We did something like
wanted to.
sincerely voluntary. Yeah, that we wanted to help. Yeah, not that sounds
No,
bad
yeah.
that some people, I mean, sometimes it's seen as like, oh, I have to do a volunteer hour, but I mean, we wanted to. So yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you. You three exemplify the portrait of a TVS graduate, and I thank you for coming in today to talk with us and share your experiences. Good luck to you.
Thank
And
you so
please
much.
stay
We
in
love
touch.
it.
Yes,
we
of
will.
course.
Thank you so much.